Nako po, confirmed mga kababayan. Mr. Maravillas, di namin maintindihan, baliktad yung... Ano yung confirm? Ito, Reagan confirmed Cory asked US to take Marcos out of the country. What? Kita ninyo? Kaya ayaw na ayaw nilang galit na galit sila mga kababayan sa Made in Malacanang, yung mga kakampon. Kasi mga kababayan, doon lumitaw yung totoo. O ngayon, confirm. O, paano yan? Ito po, pwede ninyo itong basahin mga kababayan sa column ni Bobby Tiglaw. Ngayon, Manila Times. I-share ko po sa inyo mga kababayan para lalong mag-iinit yung mga dilawan. Lalo yung mga historiador na yung mga historiador, mga kababayan ng ating bansa na marites. Ikaw niya, Mr. Maravillas. Marites man talaga yung kwento nila. O ito yung confirmation po. Ano masasabi ninyo ngayon? Lalabas, sabi ko sa inyo, ang katotohanan po, itago man ninyo sa mahabang panahon, lalabas at lalabas din po yan. Nothing concealed. Biblical po siya eh. Nothing concealed which shall not be revealed, or hidden which shall not be made known. US President Ronald Reagan, kaibigan ito ni anganganga po si President Reagan kay President Marcos. Nung bumisita po, nganga siya, nag-speech si President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Walang script, extemporaneous, nganga. Pati yung mga officials, mga kababayan ng Amerika, nganga. You see, sabi dito, US President Ronald Reagan, longtime personal friend of Ferdinand Marcos himself, confirmed that Cory Aquino asked the Americans to take the strongman out of the Philippines despite his demand to be brought to his home province, Ilocos Norte. Reagan's narrative is the fifth account debunking the yellow version of events. Tapos kayo ngayon, so, anong masasabi ninyo mga dilawan? Hindi dapat i-revise ang history? It has to be revised. It should be corrected kasi yung narrative po ninyo, marites, mga historiador ng Pilipinas, kung ano lang na mga narinig ninyong kwento galing kay Damaso, galing kay Cardinal Sin, galing sa mga marites din na na mga Madridi Cacao. Pati yung peaceful revolution, claim nila, ang peaceful revolution, napakalinaw. Ang credit po kay Apolacay, never sa inyo, mga credit grabber kayo. The movie Made in Malacanang, sabi ni Bobby Tiglaw, has quiet suddenly raised this in the public's consciousness. Historical trivia, it may seem, but it is a major revelation that should prod us to re-evaluate how Cory captured power in that really was the EDSA event that brought Marcos down. Nakipagsabwatan siya sa Amerika, kaya yung galit na galit yung mga Madridi Cacao na tumatawag si Cory sa telepono, may kausap. Tumayo muna galing sa pagmamadyong. Ano sabi ni Korigong doon? Get him out of the country. Tapos, mga kababayan, balik siya sa balasa. So sabi rito, ironically, it is the historian of the very strong yellow band, Lamberto Raimundo Ambet Ocampo, o si Ambet Ocampo pa, who first reported Reagan's account of this in his column August 10, 2022. What? Si Ambet Ocampo, yung historiador, mga kababayan, na Dilawan, his column through, as we shall see, in a case study of how even purportedly objective historians cannot accept reality even if it stares them in the face. Yan ang problema, mga kababayan, pag Rabi Dilawan ka. Si Bobby Tiglaw, dati man itong anti-Marcos. Kaya lang nang makita niya, militant po itong si First quarter storm, kasama si Bobby Tiglaw. Kaya lang nang nagising, nang madiscover niya, na pinaiikot lang sila. You see, nagising si Bobby Tiglaw, mga kababayan. Following is the relevant portion of Ocampo's piece, only very slightly edited for readability, sabi po rito. The Reagan Presidential Library and Museum in California made Reagan's daily diaries for the years 1981 to 1989 accessible online. Entries relevant to Philippine history begin on the weekend of February 23 or 22 to 23, 1986. I got some homework done, but also had conference calls regarding the Philippine situation. On Sunday morning, I approved a letter from me to Marcos begging him not to resort to force. His Defense Minister Juan Ponce Enrile and Acting Chief of the Army Fidel Ramos have resigned and taken some troops with them. At one point, Marcos ordered troops in tanks to go to where the rebels were based, but 100s of 1,000s of civilians blocked them in the tanks, turned back. Back in Washington, I met with Cap John George in Don in the Situation Room. Well, the room was full with representatives from the State Defense Secretary, Treasury, Vice President, etc. And of course, Philip or BP, very, very important person siguro ang ibig sabihin nito. Hindi, BP, hindi man BIP. And of course, Philip Habib, just back from Manila. It was a long meeting with no disagreement, but lots of frustration, sabi po rito. President Marcos is stubborn and refuses to admit he can no longer govern. I made the point that a message from me must appeal to him on the grounds that if there is a violence, I'll be helpless to continue support for the Philippines. We must not try to lay down the law. All we can do is send the message by way of the National Security Council staffer who is in Japan and pray The day started at 5:30 a.m. with a call from John and Don R. The situation in the Philippines is deteriorating, sabi po rito sa diaries po. The Marcos family in the verse left the palace and went to the airport. Then General Ver apparently talked them out of leaving. Back in the palace, they went on TV. The president and general, they got in argument. Ito yung na-cover ng ABC. Mga kababayan na makikita ninyo sa YouTube ngayon na argumento si General Ver. Gustong lusobin na. Sabi ni President Marcos, no, you disperse them without shooting them. Ganon mga kababayan, yung sinabi. The general wanted to launch an attack on the military that has gone over to the anti-Marcos people. The president said no. Ito po. Well, all of this ended and sleep for me. In the office at 9, the staff meeting and NSC were on the same subject. I was approving statements for delivery to the president pleading for no violence. Then a call from Nancy to say to Imelda Marcos was calling her. At the same time, I'm told by Paul Laksak, Jeyo S. John, Poindexter, and Don R. were coming in about Paul's call to Marcos. We agreed that they should be told I am recommending he step down and will take the lead in negotiating his safety in offering him sanctuary in the U.S. He says he wants to live out his life in the Philippines. Well, we'll try to negotiate that. Ito na mga kababayan, yung sentro mismo, the meat of the story. Cory stopped U.S. from taking Marcos to Ilocos. So, pa Ilocos sana, ay nag-intervene siya, no? Yun kung nag-intervene mga kababayan si Cory Kong. Yung nakita ninyo sa Made in Malacanang na may tinawagan, ayun. So sabi rito, the call this morning was at 6:45. At 6:45, President Marcos and his family in close circle, I was told, are in our Clark Air Base. We do not know yet his destination, but he said he wants to stay in the Philippines. Ayaw, yun ang kwento po eh. Ayaw ng Marcos family, ayaw mismo ni Apo Lakay na umalis sa bansa, kundi umuwi na lang. Tulad ng kwento sa Made in Malacanang, yun po ang kumpleto. That completes the history. He was at home in northern Luzon. In the office, I was met by George S. Itong si George S. Si George Schultz po ito. I think ambassador rito. In the BP, Cap John, Don, etc. We're ordering our ambassador and others to contact Aquino, referring to Mrs. Aquino siguro to see if we could persuade her to accept his staying in the islands with a promise of security. As the day went on, we learned she was not going to do that. He incidentally is quite ill and is bedridden at Clark. Si Apo Lakay po ito. By evening, we learned his party had left by Medivac plane for Guam. He was carried to the plane on a stretcher. Kita ninyo? And from there, diririt sa mga kababayan sa Hawaii. What? Kita ninyo? From Malacanang to Clark. Doon sa Made in Malacanang po, hindi man pinakita sa yung paglipad. Ang ipinakita lang, mga kababayan, yung pagsundo. Biglang may sumalubong si Rowin Padilla. Doon nagtapos yung kwento. Di ba? Pero ang plano talaga po, Ilocos. May tumawag na nakayelo. So, ano yung ibig sabihin nito? Confirm. Nakipagsabwatan si Coricong, mga kababayan, sa mga Amerikano. And it was confirmed by Reagan. Si President Reagan mismo. At isinulat pa ni Ambito Campo. What? Ngayon, kontra kayo ng mga historiador na i-revise ang history, no to revisionism. May mga may mga tama kayo sa ulo pag ganyan. Alam na ninyong mali. Ayaw ninyong itama at yun ang gusto ninyong ituro sa mga kabataan. Payag kayo niyan, mga kababayan ko? Anyway, hindi man kami naniniwala sa kwento nila. Ayan man lang po, mga kababayan. Just a confirmation. Galing mismo sa Amerika. Baka lang gusto ninyo po itong itry, Firmax Firming and Lifting Cream. Pinapahid po sa mga pulses and affected area. Mainam po sa mga paninigas ng kaso-kasuan. Ito po naman, mga kababayan, Automax Revitalizing Serum. Sa mukha naman po ito pinapahid. Anti-aging siya. You will look 10 years younger than your age. Yung mga cancer patients po, itry po ninyo ito. Hindi man siya gamot, food supplement siya. Ning siya red mixed fruit drink. Yeah. Gawa kasi siya, mga kababayan, sa goji berry. Ang goji berry, may anti-cancer properties po siya. Yung mga inquiries po ninyo, demiritso na lang po kayo sa aming messenger sa Facebook. Ako po si Dante Maravillas. Bye-bye po. God bless.